Everyone. Lots to talk about today in the financial world, even though it's a Sunday. Sundays often are the days, since the markets aren't open, you get a lot of op-ed pieces and the like. And today's no different, so I thought I would talk about them. First and foremost, helicopter money. This is a phrase or a term that was popular, I think, back in the Greenspan, or maybe it was the Bernanke days, where they were thinking about, how can they spur the economy, worried about stagflation, slow growth, things of that nature. It was very U.S. based. However, it looks like this is something being hotly debated in Europe as we speak. It looks like Germany's central bank has gone further negative into interest rates, which again is something to say. I don't know how big Germany's economy is in a scale of the world, but I bet you it's top 10, maybe top 15. Right, it's certainly the largest economy in Europe. So to see that economy struggling for growth, having to go further negative and cut interest rates, really punishing savers, um, it really goes to show that really there's no end potentially to what the Fed policies could do to really goose the economy. And now they're debating potentially just cutting checks to their citizens, right, to spur growth. It's interesting in the article because it talks about the economy slowing, obviously, which is the injection of cash, but also savings rates are getting higher. So, logic says if you just send them €1,000 or whatever it is, 500, whatever, would they spend it or save it, right? If you have savings rates going. So it's an interesting dichotomy. It really the point of the article, and I think what they're saying is um, getting to zero on interest rates by the central government or going negative is not the end of all. They can do quantitative easing, which is, they can do even asset purchases. It was interesting to see that the Fed governors were not opposed to potentially buying financial assets. Think bonds, think stocks. And if they go that direction, it's, it gets pretty interesting. So I really wanted to talk about this because, again, one of the things we try to follow on this channel together is the cost of capital and also the consumer sentiment. So the cost of capital can go lower. We're seeing, or I have seen, individuals in the real estate world get a investment loan with a 3 on it. I have heard of owner occupants getting 30-year loans with a 2 on it, which I think it's just, I can't fathom it given I was buying with 7s and 6s. So, but they can go lower, right? Who's to say there can't be a 1 on a 30-year loan? I personally wouldn't lend anybody money for 30 years at 1%, but maybe that's in our future. So definitely got to watch out for that. In addition to that, we have to watch out for asset purchases, right? Are they going to be buying stocks? Excuse me. I don't know what it is about these live sessions, but that just happens a lot. Anyways, so just really going to be watching what the Fed is doing, and don't get fixated on the interest rate because I think what they have in their bag are potentially a lot more effective and frankly dangerous. Right? We're talking about uncharted territory here, buying financial assets and stocks and bonds, and it could be interesting. So we're going to have to watch out for that. And then the other one, of course, we're watching is consumers. At least in Europe and Germany specifically, in this article, consumers are definitely ratcheting down their spending. Right, if their savings is growing, that means they're spending less. So this is definitely something that could happen in the U.S. We are definitely an economy based on the consumer. So it is going to be fun to watch. And next week we get some more numbers. We get some manufacturing numbers. So we're really going to see, are the consumers really starting to get nervous. We saw a softness in August, which is a single data point. We get more in September. It really could be a trend because we already have a third of the economy, business investments clearly soft and clearly soft for months now. And if the consumer follows suit, you can just play the dominoes forward and really see what's coming. In addition to that, we did have the Chinese delegation scheduled to come out in a couple of weeks. This is all about the trade talk. It's just nice to see that that's continuing um, going forward. There's lots of stuff that can happen between now and then, but it is definitely nice to see that going forward. I think both economies are suffering because of the trade war. We're obviously feeling it in the U.S., but really looks like China's feeling it. So getting back to the table, I don't expect this to be over till next year, but hopefully we can stay on the positive side of this and just get this over with. Another thing that I found was, everybody's fixated on being a millionaire, right? I want to be a millionaire. I mean, that's my goal. I found an article today talking about how long $1 million would last in various cities, and I thought it was interesting because when we get to the ones that are the least affordable, all I can say is rent control. Right? There's big talk around rent control being a national thing, which is crazy. And the two cities that are least affordable, meaning the $1 million lasts the shortest, are rent controlled because they've created a artificial gap in the market. And I wish people in government would look at this because it's just so obvious. So the numbers: Columbus, Ohio, would take you 25 years, $1 million, right? They did housing costs, food, entertainment. So they're estimating 25 years. And then Houston, Texas, was 24 years. Flip the script to the least affordable. Coming in at number 2 was San Francisco at 12.3, and then Manhattan at 10.2. And I just think it's funny that the least affordable places, and it's all housing costs, are places where they've implemented rent control, which is creating just gaps in the market, right? And the markets that are affordable, Columbus and Houston, don't have rent control. So in the end, I wish people would look at this. Another article I read this morning was from Jeff Bezos talking about what, if you fast forward and, when you're 80, what are you going to regret? And the point of the article is most of the time you're going to regret the things you did not do. I thought that was an interesting perspective. Another thing I've seen over the years, I think it's Gary Vee talks about going to old folks' home and just talking to them and seeing their story. And most of them will talk about the regrets of their life, not telling a loved one they did something, not taking a risk on something, not going for it, letting fear get in the way. So it's always important to realize that. Maybe ask yourself some questions to make sure that you don't have those kind of regrets, because those really can get pretty nasty. Um, and then at the end of the day, again, what we're looking at here is, I think the consumers are slowing. The cost of capital, I think, is going to be going down, and it's going to be an interesting time. So enjoy your day, and we will of course talk to you tomorrow. All right, everybody, take care.